Chapter 18. He must be able to tell I'm a little ticked off because he says, "Oh, nothing crazy, don't worry." But apparently Dr. Khan kept a journal or diary of sorts on her computer's hard drive. Really? Yep. It's obviously private. I mean, you'd have to be literally sitting right at her computer to access it. And, well, I read every single entry in it, and it's actually kind of interesting. Oh, how so? Once again, I can't get Pete to tell me information fast enough. He sticks another forkful of beans in his mouth and casually munches. Oh, for God's sake. Let's just say she really had some stuff to vent about the whole Magnum Health Super E project. Like what? Well, she claims she was the one who figured out everything about how to turn the Emeralites into the mega pharmaceutical drug Super E Plus. She did all, or at least most of the work, which I know seems crazy with all the, dead people lying around here, but she claims in her journal she was so much better and more productive than any of them. Wow, good for her. If she was telling the truth and not just boasting, of course. But then again, why would she be boasting if all this was her own private diary? Yeah, and apparently she was absolutely positive that once the lab, or really she, finally finished creating Super E, the president of Magnum Health, this guy named Stephen Phillips, would wind up taking all the credit for it. Oh yeah, Stephen Phillips. I know that name. Even though Mom was my personal hero and Magnum Health was her biggest competitor, I always thought he was pretty cool too. I mean, he also owned an enormous famous pharmaceutical company. Still, that would be seriously messed up if he would actually take credit for something he didn't do. Yeah, Pete says. She was completely convinced he was a total slimeball, knew he'd taken all the credit for loads of Magnum Health successes in the past, and that he would just do it again this time too. Ugh, time to knock Mr. Phillips down a few pegs in my book of heroes, or maybe even tear his page out completely. Yeah, that'd be pretty cruddy. I guess she never found out if he did in this case, though, since they never finished the work on Super E, huh? Yeah, guess not. We finish our meal in silence and rinse off our utensils in one of the sinks along the counter. This place might be abandoned and filled with corpses, but that's still no reason to not clean up after ourselves, right? Okay, I say. Time to explore and see who else is here. At least we know it's not the creepy couple, though it's still a horrific shame what happened to them. Then an idea hits me. I know. We don't have to go poking our heads out along all the doors and hallways. Even if we could, since we might not be able to access the laboratory part of the facility without special clearance anyway. Not that we'd necessarily want to, though, even though all the fungus should have been destroyed all those years ago. No way we're going to take the chance of sticking even a single cell of our bodies in there. We can just go check all the cameras from the security room. Maybe we'll see someone or something on one of those. Pete's eyes light up. That's a great idea. We take a short bathroom break using the restrooms in the corridor outside the cafeteria, then head back to the main hallway and into the security room. I flip the switch on the wall, and both the lights and rows of monitors on the other side flicker on. Let's just move these guys out of the way. I wheel one of the two black leather chairs with a corpse slouched in it off to the side of the room. I try not to look at the top of its pale, melted head, or any part of it as I do. Good idea. Pete moves the other chair, though while he does, the dead body slides out and hits the floor with a sickening thud. Oops. That's okay, it's far enough away. At least barely enough for me. We both then hunch in front of the two rows of monitors, 6 screens per row. Each one displays the view of an area from what must be a small bubble camera in the room's corner, and you can see every single room in the facility, including inside the lab and the pitch dark ones, because of the camera's night vision. The lab actually looks pretty normal, just regular metal tables with fancy looking equipment on them, though a few corpses are littered throughout it. There's no sign of the fungus or anything, though, of course. Still, I'd rather steer way clear of that area just to be on the safe side. In any case, a few areas of the facility are washed in light. The reception area, the corridor off of it, Dr. Sarah Khan's office, the 2 hallways off the cafeteria, and the cafeteria, as expected. But there's one other room that's well lit too, one Pete and I hadn't been to before. A digital label at the top of the monitor says, Nap Room. That's the room Pete and I saw earlier, the one at the far end of the corridor outside the cafeteria, opposite the utility closet. From what I can see, there are 3 small enclaves in one of the room's walls. They're stacked on top of each other with just enough space for a mattress in each, like bunk beds. The room's also got 3 lockers, a fire extinguisher, and a small wooden desk. But those aren't the first things I notice. No way. Because it's hard to miss the 2 people who are also in the room. My heart thrashes around in my chest, every last drop of oxygen being sucked from my body. No way. It can't possibly be true. Though if it is, then this has to be the greatest day of my life, because none other than Mom and Dad are in the room.